Hello. In my previous video, I talked about the 5 core costs you will need to look at when you decide to invest in real estate in Africa or the Caribbean. And I talked about the difference between homes and apartments for short-term rental. I did talk about the 5 costs. If you haven't watched this video, I'd love for you to go watch the video. This video is going to delve deeper into one of the key contentious areas, which is service charges or management fees. Service charge or management fees. If you don't know, I would let you know that I was a financial director for a real estate company, and as part of the inclusion of tenants and people renting the properties and purchasers, we made sure that residents were part of our board so that they could contribute to the discussion on service charges. And usually when it came to service charges, we'll call them in to sit in and discuss it. So we had discussions with the tenants and homeowners so that decisions made regarding management fees were agreed by both the tenants and the homeowners and the developers. I have had a very, very dirty experience in Ghana where I bought real estate, where I've had the service charges being increased without tenants or homeowners necessarily going over the costs of the or even the efficiency of running the resources that is supposed to be used for the management fees. I bought these properties, and the 2-bed is going for $250 a month, and the 1-bed is going for $180. Now they're increasing the 2 beds to about $300 and the 1-bed to over $200, $250. I think that is criminal. Before a developer increases the service charges, they must be in consultation with the homeowners and go through the budget, the income received, that is the money received from homeowners, and the expenditure incurred. And then you arrive at a figure and you find out whether there was more income than expenditure. If there was more income and expenditure, we will look at what needs to be done with it. And if there's more expenditure than income, we'll have to look at the components of the expenditure and see what monies were spent on, resources were used on, so that if there were frivolous expenditures or expenditures which were unnecessary, these will be cut. The whole idea of management fees or service charges is so that the property can be maintained and the facilities intact. When developers set up a management company, they are not supposed to make profits. Management companies are not set up to make profits from management fees or CAM charges. They're supposed to have enough money to maintain the property. But that is not what is happening with a lot of developers. So if you are about to buy a property in St. Kitts or Kingston or in Tanzania or in Lagos or Abuja or Accra, make sure that you are aware of what the developer's service charge is, the management company that is going to manage the service charges and management fees, and what are the components are, so that if there is no homeowners association, if the developer hasn't set a homeowners association up, make sure that the homeowners come together and set up a homeowners association. This is very important because when you have a very fluid, concrete and firm homeowners association, you can push back at the increment and willy-nilly arbitrary increment in service charges. And that is why I want to spend time on this one here for you. Because if you do not fight, or if you do not make sure or hold the developer's feet to fire on service charges, all your profits, all your money, your rentals is going to be going to service charges. You'll have no profits because they will be increasing these service charges and management fees year on year, eating into your profits and your return on investment. So we're going to look at the components of service charges today. I'll be very quick with this one. The first one is the maintenance. We're looking at plumbing, electricity, air conditioning, ACs, air conditions, lifts or elevators for Americans, For Americans, we call it elevators. For us English people, we call it lifts. Yeah? So, the service charges is just for these. The plumbing, a lot of these developers, they do things in a rush. They want to sell. So the plumbing is, you open the tap and water. I've had a lot of drainages where I am and they've come to fix it. And it's still happening. Electricity, if you're in a country where electricity is erratic like Ghana, Nigeria, West Africa, a lot of West African countries, make sure that the developer has the generator that would make sure, that would ensure consistent flow. So yes, a generator, fuel for the generator, they need to buy fuel for the generator as well when lights goes off. These are things that the maintenance repairs is about. Air condition. If you're lucky and the developer puts air conditioning units in your apartments, when they break down, you can call them and they can look at it. A lot of these developers, because they want to prepare, they develop the properties at they want to beat down the cost. They put in some very cheap air conditioning units which break down very quickly. They get overheated very quickly, and all the time there's a maintenance happening. You need to watch out for those and find out if you can also put your own air conditioning. In fact, I just recently put my own air conditioning into one of my units in a luxury development here in Ghana because the air conditioning was not working. I've called the company, they've come a million times and it's still not working. I'm looking, for 1 week I didn't have a rental in the property. Why? Because the air conditioning was not working. The people came, they fidgeted with it, it didn't work. So I had to cough up money to buy my own air conditioning unit just so that the property can be rented. This is at my cost. So you need to look at all of this. Lifts, elevators. Again, the money you pay is supposed to keep the lifts clean and maintained so that there is no issues. Even when there is erratic electricity, that you are not scared to death when you are in the lift. So these are some of the things you pay for as part of your service charges. The second one is security service. We're looking at CCTVs, TVs, door access, common area access. Here, you're looking at securities like the CCTVs. You want your guests to be protected. For a place where I extended the Douglas Court, I keep talking about, I had to put CCTVs in, the door access I had to put in, the common areas access I had to put on. That is my own development. But if you are buying a property in an apartment developed by a commercial developer, then CCTV and door access, some use cars, some use codes. So these are what you're paying for, especially if you're going to common areas and you don't want unwanted visitors. Some of these developments, and I know of a development in Accra, Ghana, where you look at the building outside, beautiful, but it has got a reputation. What reputation is that? It has got a reputation of being a place where, sex workers come to, sell their trade or to do their trade. And so it's become a hub for dirty, thinking and, so people do not necessarily want a place like that. So because of that, they make sure that the CCTV and the access to the place is restricted to only those who have the authority, have paid for it, or are homeowners or work there. So these are very important. And also you don't want people just to go into all the areas because of security reasons. The third one is utilities. You're paying for utilities for common areas. We're talking about the water, the electricity for the common areas, the gardens, and all of those places. So that is what you're paying for. And so when the annual income and expenditure comes, you need to review what money has been spent. Accountants will say being expended. Money has been expended on these areas. Because sometimes it may be extortionate, it may be not correct. And so you need to hold developers' feet to fire when you look at the numbers relating to the utilities that they spend money on. Waste management and cleaning. Again, guests are coming to your hotel apartment and they need to have a clean environment. The foyer, around the swimming pool areas, and all of those. Swimming pool has to be cleaned. The place has to be fumigated. Again, there is the common painting. All of those things, sometimes just to refresh the painting to make everything work well. So sometimes the waste management, has the developer got a way that would make sure that when you have your rubbish from your apartment, there is a way to bring it down seamlessly? Or do you have to carry the stinking bag across the reception area to go all the way and put it in the bin? Sometimes developers do not even, I wonder what sometimes some developers, whether they think or not, because how do you develop over 100 units in a development and not make way for where they would be able to send or descend rubbish? And they have to carry rubbish from their apartments across the reception area and walk all the way to put it into a garbage bin. Come on. We can't live like that. We want developers who will think through things. We want developers who would develop a place and it becomes a seamless, enjoyable place. Remember, the people coming to your apartment in Africa or the Caribbean, they have some standards of living. And that is exactly what they expect when they come in. So when you are buying an apartment, find out about how waste management is dealt with. Find out about the cleaning services and what you're going to be spending on. The fifth one is facilities and admin. We're talking about the swimming pool, the administration. How is the place run? How many staff are running it? What does the guest have to do when they're checking in, when they're checking out? Do they have to sign something? All of these are things that you need to look at. And so this is all part of the admin responses, the desk area. When people come in, do they have a place to sit and wait for you, or a place to rest? Is there a coffee machine? Is there a water pond, a water machine? All of that is to make sure that visitors who come to the apartment are comfortable before they even reach your apartment. And so you are paying for all of this, and that is all the service charge is about. Finally, I'm going to talk about sinking fund. Sinking fund is not necessarily a cost, but from my experience of, as I said, being a finance director for a real estate company, sinking funds are set up by the developer or the management company to take care of major repairs. So the sinking fund takes care of major repairs, replacements, or other important things. So in a very well-run management company, the sinking fund is deducted or is part of your management fees or the service charges, so that they deduct a proportion of your management fees or service charges and put it somewhere for a rainy day. So every month, as you pay your service charge, whether monthly or quarterly, the management company deducts a proportion of it and puts it there, so that in the event of there being a lift replacement, elevator replacement, they would first go to the sinking fund for the financing of it, for the replacement. And if there is not enough in the sinking fund, they will write to the homeowners and tell them, we are going to replace the lifts, but there's not enough for the sinking fund in the sinking fund. So we're going to add extra money to your service charge only for this year, not every year. Because remember, the sinking fund is just, the replacement is just a project. Again, the sinking fund is used to maintain other major repairs. So this is called planned maintenance. The developer and the management company must have a plan for what they're going to do to the development at certain stages within the journey of the development. So if they are going to look at replacing the access cards, for example, then they would look at the sinking fund to replace the access cards. If they're looking at, other major repairs, maybe they're going to change the roofing, or they're going to change the terraces of the glass on the terraces, or they're going to change certain things, maybe even the bins, how they collect the bins, they go through the sinking fund. And the sinking fund, the money from the sinking fund is usually part of the contribution of this. A developer or management company that does not have a sinking fund does not know what they're doing. A lot of the time, they would then ratchet the cost, the management services, and put it on as increment to the service charges. That is not how it's supposed to be. I have known management companies of properties I have bought who just willy-nilly, arbitrarily increase their service charges, having just sent an income and expenditure to homeowners. Nobody has said anything. They haven't consulted anybody. They just decided that, we've taken this amount of money, we've spent this amount of money, and we have got a deficit, and therefore we're going to apply it on your... Come on, it doesn't work like that. Tell that to the birds. If you have people like me, experienced people like me as one of your homeowners, they're going to challenge you. They're going to take you to book. They're going to tell you, open your books for audit. Let's look at it. If truly there is a deficit, fair enough. We will decide exactly what we need to do. It's a decision between the management company and the homeowners. This is not an arbitrary, unilateral decision by the management company. No, service charges are not meant to be profitable. They are meant to maintain the building. And when the building is maintained, I'm happy because I'm a homeowner. My property value goes up. My guests come in, they're happy. Property is nice. But when management companies or developers set up management companies to make profit for them, that is corruption. That is not allowed. That is not acceptable. And if you are going to be a property owner in Africa, or you are one, you've bought properties in a development that is arbitrarily increasing service charges and management fees, you need to fight back and make sure that you go through the books and make sure that any increment is warranted. Other than that, a lot of management companies in Africa and the Caribbean, they use this fee as something to be lavish, to furnish their offices lavishly, to be frivolous with the way they spend your money and not be accountable to it or to you for it, but just literally tell you there is a deficit in the income that was received, and therefore your service charge is going to increase from 250 to 300 or whatever. And if you're somebody not like me and you just think you just want to let it lie down, it is going to eat into your profit, and therefore you need to look at it. Sinking funds are very important when you are running a management company and you are charging management fees. So if you're investing in real estate and you need to look at all of this, ask your developer or the management company they've set up. If one, they have set up a homeowners association. If they haven't, let the homeowners set one up. Go register it, get your members and get your representatives. These are the people who represent you at the board meeting when the management company is doing its sums. And secondly, ask the development company or the management company if they have a sinking fund. If they don't have a sinking fund, ask them what is the reason they don't have one. Are they going to set one up? What are the issues or the processes that need to be gone through to be able to set one up? These are pertinent information. If you are looking to invest in real estate in Africa or the Caribbean, or you have got real estate, a home, a house, and you want to turn into an ATM cash machine, my team and I are set up to help you wherever you are in Africa or the Caribbean. So just contact us at the links below or my website, douglasoppong.com, and we will be glad to take you on a journey from nothingness to somethingness vis-a-vis your real estate journey. Take care.